And welcome to another edition of Defo on 5. Jeff DeForest and Mike Loopy Lubitz. And all we can do is start in song and say, tonight's the night. A litmus test for a couple of our local teams. And we'll see this afternoon also if another one of our local teams can continue this bizarre ascent that sort of came out of nowhere. Talking about your former Florida Marlins, now known as the Miami Marlins, also known as Team Anonymous, and yet somehow they're becoming synonymous with being really, really good. So we'll see. They're on a bit of a roll here, having won 6 out of 7. We'll get into that in just a bit. But tonight, the big night, especially for you 5 Reasons sports fans that are out there. We know that there is a heavy concentration on the Miami Heat on 5 Reasons Sports Network. So much so that I think it might even drive the CEO of the whole operation, Scoop Skolnick, a little bit crazy, right? Which is one of the reasons that we're here.
Hello.
Because, Scoop wants to diversify the thing. He doesn't want it to be so heat-centric, and yet here we are. And you can't help it. You're talking about the Miami Heat. It's known as a free square in horse racing. When you get to a sequence, you can bet various sequences. Used to be the daily double was a traditional thing, and you go, wow, did you play the double? Are you alive in a double? Where you would try to pick the winners of the first 2 races on the card. And then they started having late doubles and rolling doubles. And then they realized people love this shit. So we may as well just keep it up. So they came across with pick 3s, where you pick 3 winners in a row, successive races, pick 4s, which are less frequently available on the card. But at least once or maybe twice on any racing card now, you can try to pick 4 winners in sequence on a day's racing program. And if you do, you're richly rewarded because you get the parlay effect plus. You get a lot of money that's in the pool there that gets knocked out early, and then there's pick 5s, pick 6s. So what's called a free square, Luby, is when you have a horse that cannot lose. Secretariat is running in the 4th race in a tune-up against a bunch of plodding claimers, platers that haven't won a race in years, and the horse is going to go off at 1-20. Going to pay $2.05 in the win position, but you can't help but use it in these sequences that pick 3s, pick 4s, pick 5s. So you consider that a free square. Now, if the horse loses, that naturally upsets the apple cart. Or it's kind of like a free roll of the dice, right? You're playing with house money, as you like to put it, and that's a position the Heat find themselves in tonight as they take on their second encounter against the Milwaukee Bucks. And listed as doubtful for today's game, in spite of the extra day of rest, is one Giannis Antetokounmpo, who clearly is the catalyst and the straw that stirs the Bucks back. The Heat, I would think, would even be favored against an Antetokounmpo-less. That was a good one. Antetokounmpo-less Milwaukee Bucks team. No, would you not favor the Heat in this ballgame?
Well, they're
If
not.
you were going to put a lineup?
I mean, the fact that they don't have heroes, so it levels it off a bit, which is freaking annoying.
The hero for Antetokounmpo thing, I still can't buy it.
No, he's better. But I'm just saying, whereas, like, if you had hero and they didn't have Giannis, like,
if Budenholzer had come to Spoelstra before the series and said, "I'll tell you what, you know what, we're really afraid of that Tyler Hero kid, man. He is some ball player, especially on the defensive end. We won't play Giannis if you don't play Tyler Hero." What do you think Spoelstra would have said?
Okay.
Pat Riley would have cut off his right arm for this situation and said, "Here, I'll throw in my right arm. Well, whatever you want to do with it, go ahead. Bronze it, put it in a museum. Here it is, Pat Riley's right arm." He would have given anything. He would have given limbs off his body to see this swap made and the Kumpo out of the lineup for Tyler Hero. Now, does it help the Heat that Tyler Hero's not in the lineup? No, because they pretty much have to be at their best to have any chance against the Milwaukee Bucks. But against an Antetokounmpo Milwaukee Buck team, I think they can more than compensate for the loss of Tyler Hero. I completely disagree with your man Reggie Miller on his analysis that this is a more devastating blow for the Miami Heat. It is only in the sense that Antetokounmpo, you figure, is going to come back at some point. Because I believe after tonight, they don't play again until like Saturday night.
Yes, they do another 2 days off.
Right. So if you're the Bucks, yeah, I mean, don't you go into this thinking, well, we might lose this game, but if we get Giannis back, we'll cream these guys and we'll easily be able to come back and win 4 out of 5, which it's kind of a weird position to put yourself in. So, well, we'll see. He's listed as doubtful for the game. Now, doubtful in the NBA kind of means doubtful, doesn't it?
Yes. Now, you say doubtful. Well, and then on top of that, he not only he didn't practice yesterday, he couldn't. Like when they say a guy can't practice the day before a game, that's not a sign that he's going to play. Like Budenholzer can talk about how optimistic he is all he wants. Like Budenholzer himself is the one that said he couldn't practice. I mean,
the stories went from being laced with optimism a couple of days ago in the immediate aftermath of the injury. Oh yeah, it's a pretty good chance he's going to play. To all of a sudden this doubtful thing, and we joke about it all the time. I guess it's not a joke anymore because it actually happened, where a guy who was listed as deceased on an NFL injury report is actually going to play. Demar Hamlin coming back,
yes.
and that's a heartening story. I mean, especially heartening for our good friend Andy, who's had all kinds of heart problems, thinking, hey, if this guy could come back and play in the NFL after dying, after being essentially dead
Yeah.
on the field, then, anything can happen. There are a lot of advances in this category of medicine. And we're certainly happy about that. But it would be the first time, I guess, a deceased player has actually come and played in an NFL game. Now, he wasn't listed on the injury report. We're joking about that naturally. Hey, what's he talking about? He wasn't listed as dead. But the joke is that unless you're listed as deceased on the injury report in an NFL game,
Playing.
there's a pretty good chance that you're playing. I'm going to take a guess here that Antetokounmpo does not play in this game. That they use discretion as a better part of valor here, as desperate as they may be not to fall 0-2 in their home wood. The Milwaukee Bucks in the quest to go out and win an NBA championship, which many people thought that they should be favored to do. I think they probably were the overall favorite to win the championship this year going into the postseason. No longer the case. And the Heat in there with a chance to steal one. Can they do it? We shall see. This is that Jekyll and Hyde aspect of the Miami Heat that you despise, Mike Lubie, that Heat fans have come to lament. It has been the blues song of the century. We don't know what this team is going to do from night to night.
No.
And as sharp as they were in game number one, if they can replicate that, I think they do come out of there with a victory and then find themselves in a very advantageous position because even at full strength, they were able to beat the Milwaukee Bucks on their home wood. So we'll see. What is the name of the arena now? I have no idea.
Oh, God, that's a good question. I have no idea.
Yeah. It's the Mickey Harrison Center, essentially.
I mean, the Heat's Kaya.
Yeah.
Is it Kaya?
I have no idea. Is that some diet? What is it? I'm not even sure what it's named for. But nonetheless, it doesn't matter. Big chance for the Miami Heat tonight, and we'll see what happens. It looks like Giannis is probably not going to play in this ball game, at least according to the latest. And so naturally, he'll be in the starting lineup, and it'll be another Willis Reed situation
Nice.
where he goes 2 for 4, and the Bucks go off. Middleton has 37.
Then I hope they play. I hope they play him because that's the thing is he got the 2 days off. You would count the today as another day. He would get like 5 or 6 days if
he would have a week off essentially if he doesn't play till game 3.
Can either be 100% or be close by game 3. You play him today, you're screwing the whole thing up, and I don't know if he comes back this series. So
we'll see.
I think they can want to play him. If they play him, it's to the Heat's advantage to me.
One guy who's not going to be playing in the next game of the series that they're involved in is Draymond Green of the Golden State Warriors. That will be the hot topic of the day, Lubie. Yes. Everybody's going to be talking about Draymond Green and the 1-game suspension that he incurred for stomping on Sabonis, as Sabonis did grab a hold of his leg. I'm not sure that the 1-game suspension was necessarily warranted in this case. Adam Silver happened to be at the game. I don't know that Draymond Green, with his history of doing these sort of ridiculous antics, helped himself any by then trying to incite the crowd a little bit and getting after the people in Sacramento with a bunch of different antics that he was exhibiting. And I think Adam Silver took a look at that and said, this guy's a joke, and we're going to suspend him for a game. In spite of the fact that how many times did the television partners of Adam Silver in the NBA call and say, we love Golden State. We love Steph Curry. Every sponsor has Steph Curry in their commercials. We'd like to see Golden State do well. If you're going to suspend anybody, suspend Sabonis for grabbing the man's leg. Think some of that took place? Maybe.
Get them back in this series.
Anyway, I don't know that Draymond Green is as important to the Golden State Warriors as he was, say, in 2016, the last time he got suspended for a playoff game. But we all know what the result was there. It cost Golden State possibly a championship. Yep. This guy with his bizarre behavior. And this time, uncalled for. I mean, no matter what the guy is doing, do you stomp his chest? It looks like Sabonis is also questionable for this game. And that brings up the age-old hypothetical, which is, if somebody does something that is absolutely bordering on evil, and sinister to another player. A cheap shot hit in a hockey game, deliberately hitting a guy in a baseball game, and then he loses time. Should the player that was the offending player be suspended for the same amount of time as the injured player is out? Now, that's a tough equation to stick to. And I don't know that it's appropriate, but a lot of people would feel that way, the old eye for an eye. So if Sabonis doesn't play, I don't know if that justifies the rationalization about Draymond Green deserving the one-game suspension. I probably would have sided with Shaq, who weighed in after and said, you ejected him from the game. That was enough. I mean, he left a close ball game with 7 minutes to go. It is the playoffs. There was an initial action by Sabonis that could have prompted Draymond Green to have the reaction that he had. The business with the crowd, I mean, that's just part of the whole show there. I think I probably would have let it go. I don't know. How do you feel about it, Loopy? I'd rather see Golden State, if they are going to lose to Sacramento, lose on somewhat equal footing
Look,
rather than by an official decision.
Sabonis grabbed his leg, and at first he's trying to shake it free. He then looks at him and he steps down, which was douchey. And he got kicked out for it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but when you watch the video, he did step on a dude, stomp, whatever word you want to use, deserved to be kicked out. I don't understand the suspension. Like, I get it, he was a jerk, and and what you're saying actually makes sense. Like, he's now he's in his 30s. Like, if you're the NBA, you're hoping he grows up. The fact that he reacted weird, and it was like the same guy that we saw in 2016, which it's been 7 years. Like, you would think he would have grown up.
Maybe it's not a good look for the NBA, basically.
Yeah, and we know the NBA worries about image a lot. But the I don't know. I didn't like when they suspended him in the LeBron situation, and I definitely don't like it now. He already kicked him out in the middle of a game, and they then lost. Well, was it a game?
And there was some initial action that could have, precipitated and caused the situation, exacerbated the situation. I don't think Draymond Green stomps on Sabonis if he's just on the ground.
No.
I don't think he goes out of his way to stomp on a guy before he runs down the other end of the court. But who knows? We're not mind readers here. The NBA did it. That'll be the hot topic, whether or not Draymond Green deserved to be suspended. How much difference it makes, we shall see. Many times you'll see a team be inspired by this. Green is not the essential ingredient that he used to be, although still an important player because he can defend, and he does a lot of things in the floor game that are very valuable, as Curry and all of the other shooters, Klay Thompson and the rest of the cast there are being helped out by Draymond Green's presence. So you would have to say that is a fact, even if it doesn't show up in the box score. All right, the Panthers are in action tonight as well, so you got doubleheader viewing. I don't know how are you going to take this in, Lubie? How are you sports fans out there going to take this in? Do you go to a sports bar? Do you set up two TVs? Is it possible to create a split screen situation on your home television set? Do you wish you were at one of these road games, which a lot of people would like to be? But the Panthers now going against the Boston Bruins for the second game of the series. First game wasn't all that exhilarating, was it? I mean, it was kind of routine as hockey games go. If that was a regular season game, I don't know that people leave the arena so thrilled that they paid all that money to go and see it. Nonetheless, if you're a Bruins fan, you're happy. They did their thing. They kept the Panthers under 2 goals, which is something they've been doing routinely throughout the season to all of their opposition, giving up just 2.4 goals per game. Bergeron, their captain, is out. Can the Panthers step it up a little bit? I wouldn't rule out the possibility that they could steal one there, and if they do, then this thing takes on a whole new light. If the Panthers go down 2-0, I would have to think that most Panther fans, if they haven't already, have thrown the flowers in the punch and given up on their chances. So we'll see. Good opportunity tonight, though, for both teams. Both of the local teams in huge ball games. And in this case, it's not a ball game, a hockey match tonight. And, you don't usually get that. Plus, our baseball team has an afternoon game, the Marlins, and they're coming off, who is this A.J. Puck guy, man, coming out of the bullpen. That was an acquisition that we didn't discuss. It looks like it's of some significance now, as he comes in, saves the game yesterday against San Francisco. That's his 3rd save on the season. So the Marlins, who did not appear to have any certainty in terms of a closer in the bullpen, may be onto something with this kid. And then Jorge Soler, who we have routinely dissed throughout the last season and change, now coming on, has a big ball game again yesterday, going 3 for 4, now up to 263 with his 5 home runs. Jazz Chisholm seems to be snapping out of whatever it was that he was afflicted with beginning of the year. Maybe it was center field jitters or showboat syndrome, whatever it was. He has his batting average climbing and had a big 3-run home run in the game last night. And I haven't heard too many horror stories about his play in center field, which seems to be improving very quickly. So an athletic giant, Jazz Chisholm, you can't knock or can't help but see his athleticism. And maybe he's transforming some of that into making a good transition. But the Marlins now have won 6 out of 7. They're 9-8 on the season. And Skip Schumacher has to be a candidate for manager of the year already, right? If you were going to give a manager of the year out,
the Marlins are 10-8.
10-8. Okay. So, holy Kevin Cashman. I mean, they're off to a great start with this guy. It looks like they have nothing. I mean, it really does. To me, when you look at their team compared to other teams, it looks like they have nothing, right? John Birdie starting at shortstop. I mean, nice guy. Seems like a real credible type of guy. The guy that, you would like to see as a catalyst on your team. But you got a guy hitting 220 that's at the top of your order because he can steal a base or two, and he's playing shortstop, which I don't know the last time that there were comparisons with him and Dave Concepcion.
No.
I don't think there ever have been, for that matter, because Concepcion, is he still alive, Concepcion? I want to say yes.
I think so.
Why are we comparing players to dead guys all the time on this show? That's crazy. All right, a couple of other things here on Defo and 5. There were games in the NBA last night. Celtics cruising over Atlanta. Survey of NBA players taken anonymously has Trae Young as the most overrated player in the NBA, according to other players. The most overrated player in the NBA. That came out recently. The Cavs did what they needed to do and reversed the table on the New York Knicks, 107-90. Darius Garland was insane last night in that game. You're thinking Cavs Donovan Mitchell, and everybody's going to be focused on him. Sky Garland was outstanding from bell to bell. And the Suns, same thing. They couldn't afford to go down 0-2 to the Los Angeles Clippers. They did not. They pulled away late. I couldn't help but think, I'm sorry to do this to you, Lubie, but every time I see Devin Booker have a game like he had last night, which is frequently, where he goes for 38 points, is outstanding. Also, he's become a little bit of a catalyst at the defensive end. I keep thinking, could Justice Winslow have done that? I don't think so, right?
I don't know if he's in the league. Is Justice Winslow in the league?
Could he have ever done that? You wanted this man. What is wrong with the scouts? How did they not see the greatness of Devin Booker when he was playing and hoisting him up for Kentucky? 7th guy drafted off the same roster that John Calipari had. Did Calipari, I hope he won a national championship with that team, did he?
No, he only won one title. That was with the Anthony Davis team. I don't even know how far that team went. That team may have gone.
Unbelievable. All right, so the Suns come back, 123-109. Durant was also excellent in the game. Kawhi Leonard in the postseason is just unbelievable. Never mind my comparison with DeMar DeRozan. You were right. DeMar DeRozan is not even the poor man's Kawhi Leonard when it comes to play, because Kawhi Leonard is in there defending Durant and doing a pretty good job of harassing him. NHL action last night. 4 series got underway. All 4 road teams won. How about that? That shows you how crazy, how mashugana it can be to try and pick a winner in an NHL series. Rangers 5, New Jersey 1. Tampa Bay clobbers Toronto 7-3. Boy, they were flat in that Toronto arena. You know, excited they get about hockey there. Winnipeg beat the Las Vegas Golden Knights on the road 5-1, and the Seattle Kraken went out to a 1-0 lead over Colorado. That has to be a gargantuan surprise, as they beat the Avalanche 3-1. A lot of people like the Avalanche maybe to win it all this year. A couple of other things real quick, too, as Clayton Kershaw got win number 200. Think about that for a second. Any guy, I remember when they kept Don Sutton out because they said he was a stat accumulator. He had 300 wins, but he pitched for like 20 years. That's still 15 wins a year for 20 years. Not bad. All 20 years. No bad years, no nothing, no time away from the game. Automatic Hall of Famer, right? They kept him out forever. Here's Kershaw, who you would have to think is a Hall of Famer, no? Clayton Kershaw?
Yes.
Clayton Kershaw. He just got to 200. He'll never get to 300. He won't even sniff it. He'll be lucky to get to 220.
Guys don't even get 20 wins anymore.
It's amazing, huh?
20-something wins.
Yeah. And of course, we mentioned this yesterday, Giancarlo Stanton out for a month, tweaked a hamstring.
Obviously.
They had a guy in a hockey game last night. I forget who it was. One of the games, a guy took 75 stitches, and he was back out for the next period. he got hit with a skate. I guess, there was a scrum around the net, and he might have been on the ground, slashed with a skate. 75 stitches later, he goes to the locker room and comes back out and plays like it was nothing. It looked like Vino Anafirmo. Just scar tissue everywhere. And That's a hockey mentality for you as compared to baseball. Well, look, you can't run with a bad hamstring. That's true. But
No,
does it take a month to recover
no,
from a tweak?
no.
Amazing. They're already out for a month. They have already ruled him out for the season. All right. We'll see you later on the Defo show. That's South Florida Live. You can catch it there. You guys enjoy the games tonight. If you don't catch us later on, we'll see you tomorrow right here. For Mike Loopy Lubitz, I'm Jeff DeForest, and that's a wrap on another edition of Defo on 5.